Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Golden Bachelorette, who was Chock Chapple's fiancée Kathy? Golden Bachelorette winner Chock Chapple is now engaged to Joan Vassos. However, as he's mentioned on the show, he was also engaged in the past to a woman named Kathy for 9 years. Sadly, she passed away from cancer in 2022. He spoke highly of Kathy, but didn't share very much about her on the show. Who was Kathy? Keep reading to find out more. Who was Chock Chapple's fiancée Kathy? Chock Chapple did have love in life before Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos. He was engaged to Kathy. She was a mother of 2 and a beloved daughter, friend, and fiancée. Kathy considered her 4 furry friends part of her immediate family. One dog referred to in Kathy's obituary actually belongs to Chock. He refers to his dog as Super Tubbs. Above all, she was a wonderful mother who rarely missed one of her kids' sporting events. She supported them in everything they did. Kathy was loved by all who knew her and enjoyed working with her father on a daily basis. She served as vice president at White and Ellis Drilling, Incorporated. One of her big passions was Q basketball. She even followed them all over the country with her friends to watch games. It was noted in her obituary that travel was also a big part of her life. She loved to share her travel stories with others. Chock noted on the Golden Bachelorette that Kathy was only diagnosed with cancer 5 months before she passed away. Why did he never get married? Fans have questioned why Chock Chapple did not marry Kathy in the 9 years they were together. In a previous interview, Chock shared that they never got married because she wanted to wait until both of her children were out of school. The reasons behind her decision were not revealed. Oddly enough, there are no photos of the 2 of them together on either of their social media accounts. When she passed away, Chock shared a photo of her facing away from the camera. He noted what a wonderful person she was and how much everyone would miss her. Of course, fans know that Joan Vassos also lost her husband to cancer. The 2 were able to bond over their loss. Now they have found love again with each other. They are moving on with their future and know that both John and Kathy would approve of their engagement. On the Golden Bachelorette, few contestants captured hearts faster than Chock Chapple, the retired firefighter with the wide, easy grin and the soulful, stormy eyes. From the moment he stepped out of the limo with a bouquet of wildflowers he claimed he picked just for Joan, viewers knew he wasn't just another hopeful. Chock was carrying something heavier than just nerves in his pocket. Week after week, as Joan Vassos and her suitors laughed, cried, and slow danced their way through second chances at love, Chock stood out for his sincerity. He was gentle, thoughtful, with a wry humor that hinted at a life fully lived and fully loved. But it wasn't until hometowns that America learned the truth. Chock had once been engaged to a woman named Kathy, and losing her had quietly shaped the man he'd become. Who was Kathy? And why did her story bring Joan, and millions of viewers, to tears? Kathy Hammond, as Chock finally revealed, was his college sweetheart, his travel buddy, his fiercest fan, and his once-in-a-lifetime kind of love. They met in their 20s on a chaotic, rainy night at a community fundraiser. Chock had been assigned to manage parking in the mud. Kathy had been in charge of ticket sales inside. She showed up in the middle of the field in a white dress already stained with mud, laughing like it was the greatest night of her life. Chock offered her his jacket. Kathy declined, spun around, and danced barefoot through the puddles. He was smitten on the spot. For a decade, they were inseparable. Friends joked that Chock and Kathy didn't just finish each other's sentences, they seemed to think in the same rhythm. They built a life full of road trips, campfires, jazz concerts, and lazy Sunday mornings reading the paper. They adopted an old Labrador from a shelter and named him Gus. They never rushed marriage. To them, what they had already felt bigger than any legal ceremony. But in their late 30s, after a dreamy Christmas proposal under the fairy-lit trees of downtown Savannah, they started planning a small wedding. Invitations were ordered. Kathy found a simple vintage gown she loved, They bought 2 rocking chairs for the porch they planned to grow old on. Then, 6 months before the wedding, Kathy was diagnosed with an aggressive form of ovarian cancer. Chock rarely spoke of those months publicly, and on the Golden Bachelorette, when he finally did, his voice cracked under the weight of it. He described Kathy as a warrior, laughing through the hardest treatments, comforting him when he should have been comforting her. She said, Chock told Joan one soft evening under the stars, that if we had to have less time, we'd just have to make more memories faster. They did. They traveled when she could. They ate dessert first. They danced in hospital rooms. Kathy passed away with Chock holding her hand, whispering a story about the life they were still going to live somewhere somehow. For years afterward, Chock shut the door on love. It wasn't bitterness, it was reverence. As he once told the cameras during a teary confessional, I wasn't sure there was enough room in my heart to love someone else and still honor Kathy. But time has a way of softening even the most stubborn grief. Chock realized that Kathy hadn't loved him so he could be alone forever. She had loved him because she believed he was someone who could make another person feel safe, adored, and celebrated. It was his sister who finally signed him up for the Golden Bachelorette, believing that if anyone deserved a second act, it was Chock. Kathy's spirit was woven throughout his journey with Joan. At the art date, when the group was asked to paint something that made them feel alive, Chock painted a sunrise over water, the exact view he and Kathy had watched from their favorite fishing spot. When Joan saw the painting, she said softly, "It feels like hope." Chock nodded. "That's what she gave me." At the hometown date, when Chock took Joan to meet his family, he quietly showed her a small framed photo in his living room. It was Kathy, beaming in the sun, hair whipping across her face in the wind. "She'll always be part of my story," Chock said. "I hope that's not too much to carry." Joan wiped her eyes and whispered, "Love like that isn't a burden, it's a blessing." America collectively sighed, and knew that Joan, too, understood what it meant to lose and still choose love again. But Chock's honesty also caused waves. Some fans worried whether he was truly ready to move forward. Online forums debated fiercely. Was he still too tethered to his past? Was he emotionally available enough for someone new? But others, especially those who had also lost great loves, defended him fiercely. Loving someone new didn't mean forgetting someone old. It meant carrying them forward, building something new with all the tenderness learned from the past. Chock himself put it best during the fantasy suite date, when he and Joan sat watching a fire crackle between them. "I'll never pretend Kathy didn't exist," he told Joan. "But if you let me, I'll spend every day making new memories with you. The kind she would cheer for. The kind we both deserve." In the end, Chock's story wasn't about grief. It was about growth. About how love, even when it's lost, leaves you richer, deeper, stronger. As Joan placed a hand on his heart that night, murmuring, "I see you, Chock," it was clear she wasn't just seeing his past. She was seeing the possibility of a future. And somewhere, perhaps, under a different sky, Kathy was smiling too. Would you also like me to write a short bonus paragraph imagining what Kathy herself might say if she could see Chock now?